Good morning to all of you. I am Baban Ingole from India. I am going to give a brief summary of India's baseline studies conducted for the exploration of the polymetallic sulfide in the Indian Ocean. In fact, India started the campaign for environmental baseline studies of polymetallic sulfide in 2016, and the data collected over last four years, the summary is being presented here. As we all are aware about that, in last 40 years of the deep sea exploration, scientists have discovered over 90 active hydrothermal fields and another 550 or more hydrothermal sites are inferred along the 70,000 kilometer long mid-ocean ridges. Over 500 animal species have been identified and described as new species from these vent habitats. As far as Indian Ocean is concerned, Indian Ocean has mid-ocean spreading centers comprising 18,000 kilometer length, which is roughly around 28% of the global total MOR length. It has various spreading rates with various spreading rate, but particularly these are slow or ultra slow spreading centers with active 7 active hydrothermal fields discovered till date. There are some inactive and unconfirmed sites, but so far 7 are the active hydrothermal. India's present position on the environmental impact or regional environmental management plan is India believes in environmental conservation, and we have committed for the conservation. And this has already been demonstrated with our comprehensive long-term environmental studies we conducted in the Central Indian Ocean Basin for the polymetallic nodule exploration program. The data has already been collected over last 3 decades, much before started in 1996-97, much before even the seabed authorities guidelines were placed in order. And therefore we our approach is towards deep sea mineral resource development is holistic, it is inclusive, and would like to involve all the stakeholders in this program. India supports therefore to the seabed authorities efforts in developing regional environmental network for the area. So our objective are to establish environmental baseline conditions for the exploration of hydrothermal sulfide. Environmental monitoring continues to ensure that no serious harm is caused to the marine environment, specifically to the biota, from these activities during mineral prospecting and exploration. Scientific tools being used for these studies are basically standard international scientific recognized and recommended tools for the water sampling and water column sampling and the seabed sampling. Water sampling, we basically use the CTD Niskin rosette. Our study area, as you can see, is spread over both Central Indian Ridge and the Southwest Indian Ridge. There are 5 clusters, cluster A and B in the along the CIR, and C, D, and E are in the Southwest Indian Ridge. And these are the locations where we have been collecting water samples, zooplankton sample, benthic sledge, EIS stations, and additional EIS station with the star, which is mentioned it here. And this red line is nothing but the ridge axis is there. In each cluster, we have got the blocks, and stations are located in such a way that each block is represented with the environmental data. As I was just mentioning, for the water sampling, we use the Niskin rosette sampler using CTD. For plankton sampling, we use different type net. For example, this is the IO Indian Ocean standard net, specifically collected used for the larval collection. This is a Herald Triton net for the surface, 200 meter, tops 200 meter, zooplankton sampling 200 micron, And these are the Bango net, again, specifically used in top 200-meter water column for zooplankton studies. Then we have the box core, multi-core, Van Veen grab, and benthic sledge. These are used for basically for the sediment sampling for the different benthic biodiversity study. As far as the data concerned is there, the summary of the water parameter, particularly physical parameters, are, for 4 years we have been collecting this. So temperature, salinity, turbidity, and oxygen. Temperature salinity shows a seasonal variation, particularly for the 1000 and 1500 meter water depth, as you can see that in this area. However, DO did not show it much variation. This is the each station wise, as you can see, for last 4 years what we have collected. Turbidity certainly shows a significant variation from time to time, or year to year, particularly below 2400, 500 water depth. This is particularly the active zones as far as the plumes are concerned. Well, here is the chemical data what we have collected for water column. We are nutrients. As you can see that all along the ridges, the stations locations are, as I already mentioned it there. So nitrate, nitrite, phosphate, silicate. What we can see that there is 1000 to 1500 meter water depth. Oxygen is drops all of a sudden. However, mid-water enrichment of nutrient is very much visible, as you can see. Phosphate, silicate, around 1500 meter down, or 1200 or 1000 meter down, you can say there is an enrichment of the nutrient in the water column, which attribute the degradation of the organic matter and subsequent releasing or availability of nutrient in the water column. Temporal variation for station wise, cluster wise, for last 2 years, as you can see, this is the comparison for 2 years data, which doesn't shows much variation as far as the year to year this thing. So variability in temporally is not much in this region. As far as biological parameters are concerned, these are the microbiology. We have been studying in detail about the microbiology, particularly culturable or retrievable bacterial diversity, both in CIR, Central Indian Ridge, and the Southwest Indian Ridge. And as you can see that site specific, northern side we have got it. It is a triple junction area, and then down south West Indian Ridge, there are dominance of specific bacteria in this region. We have till date more than 200 bacterial species have been sequenced with using the 16S rRNA, and all this data has been already deposited, being shared in the public database in GenBank. 20 amplicons, metazone, and metagenomic of this has been sequenced, again deposited in database. 5 whole genome bacteria has been again deposited in database. 3 novel bacteria isolates are again whole genome we have done in sequence, and already this is being already published, available in the public domain. In fact, there are 2 the novel bacterial species are already published, and 1 more is under publication. As far as the case studies are there, as we can see that this is with respect to the bottom or the benthic bacteria, which we have isolated from the Southwest Indian Ridge. There are comparison. One is ridge flank, and one is the seamount. And as you can see that there are different bacterial communities in these 2 areas, where you have the high dominance of opiotropic order in the seamount samples, whereas sulfide producing bacteria and hydrogen oxidizing bacteria are dominant in the ridge flanks, which indicate that chemosynthetic dominance of this bacterial community in the ridge environment. Also, as you can see that there are the specific, as I was just mentioning, you can see it there, both the region, you have got the different indicator, ecologically indicated environment. So ridge environment and seamount environment are separated. As far as the microbial biomass in the water column is concerned, we have measured the microbial biomass in order to know the biological production in the water column. This was measured in terms of the ATP or adenosine triphosphate, which is basically nothing but the uh, organic contribution from plant and animal both together. And in terms of microbial biomass, we measure it, and as can be seen from this slide, the ATP concentration increase as depth increases, and increase in basically was observed significant at the water depth of 2000 and beyond. This increase at the deeper water indicate that hydrothermally derived substrates could be supporting the microbial or autotrophic microbes production in deeper waters. Again, as far as the benthos is concerned, we have a comprehensive study for the benthos. As I was mentioning that we have been studying meobenthos, microbenthos, megabenthos, and as you can see that all along the ridges there are site specific dominance of some of the communities. Here you have see that sponges and barnacles on the northern side, we do have it crustaceans and echinoderms. The southern sector we have got corals, both soft and hard corals. There are fishes, specific deep sea fishes, we do have it, and the echinoderms in the southern side. Also we have got the carnivorous sponge and some benthic shrimps. We have been as I mentioned, more than 200 species from these regions. As far as the zooplankton or planktonic diversity is concerned, we have been able to collect both phytoplankton, zooplankton with different type of nets, as well as we have used the samples, water samples and plankton samples for the next generation sequencing. And based on that, the zooplankton community I'm just summarizing here is on phylum level, as you can see that the arthropods were the dominant, almost more than 35%, they comprise the relative abundance. It was followed by the cnidarians, mostly jellyfish, and then other cnidarians in the larval stages of even the different were there. It was followed by, again, you have the vertebrates, different vertebrates, mostly the fishes, hemichordates, echinoderms, and of course mollusks also were present in this. As far as the group level is concerned, calanoid copepods are the most dominant from the crustaceans or arthropods. It was followed by maxillipods and other copepods, but calanoid copepods were 70%, more than 70%. It was overall in the our study area. As far as the novel finding is concerned, so far from our samples of last 4 years, we could identify dozens of potential new species. There are 5 or 6. We are, at the final stage of confirming this identification. Few of that we already, like for example, this is one bacterial species which is from southwest Indian ridge. It is the Aldromonas plagiomontana new species. It has a bioprospecting potential. It has the exopolysaccharide producing capacity, and it is isolated from the sediment from the southwest Indian ridge. This is a hard coral. It is a cup coral, or also called a stony coral, originally collected almost more than 120 years back during the investors collections, and this is collected from the southwest Indian ridge. Just last year we have collected. This is a sponge which is specifically so far was known. This species was known from the northern hemisphere, but this is Geodia species. Most probably it is a new species. We are done with the molecular study and morphological study of this, and we, with the help of different experts around the globe, we are going to identify it very soon. It will be published. This is the blind lobster, which is collected first time from the Indian Ocean, and it's already been published. Then this is another sponge. This is one more sponge which we are suspecting as a new species from this region. As far as the data is concerned, we have already deposited sequences of over 150 both bacterial and metazoans in the database. This data is collected in both way, taxonomical, then we are using molecular to generate the phylogenetic. So here is the phylogenetic tree, for example, of a sponge associated shrimp, which is collected from Southwest Indian Ridge, and then it is a biogeography using the OBIS database, where we are depositing this one, and it will be shared as and when it will be confirmed with the database, and this will be our contribution to the deep data initiative of the seabed authorities. So in summary, using various proxies such as physical, chemical, geological, geochemical, and biological were used for the hydrothermal, identify the hydrothermal signatures, and we integrated all this multidisciplinary data and already identified few new locations for the potential hydrothermal activities over CIR as well as Southwest Indian Ridge. Our detailed morphological and molecular study revealed presence of new bacterial and metazoan species all along both CIR and Southwest Indian Ridge. Now this data, ecological habitat mapping, as well as inventory of different organisms, both bacteria, phytoplankton, zooplankton, benthic fauna, this is being prepared as an inventory. This will be very helpful not only in preparing the environmental management plan, but also assessing the impact of different exploration activities and probably the mining activity in future on the environment. Finally, I would like to thank Seabed Authority for giving me this opportunity, Indian government for making asking me to make a presentation, and also to all of you for your kind attention. Thank you very much.